Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. A'udhu billah shaitan ar-Rajim. May God protect us from the cursed one and unnecessary ignorance. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds. Rabbi Ighfirli. My Lord, forgive me. My Lord, forgive me for all the sins that I am conscious and unconscious of. Ihdina sirata al-mustaqim. May God guide us to the direct path. And so this lecture. Okay. So hello everyone. I've decided to give a lecture now. I thought about it just to me, I was fascinated today by what is the most advanced kind of day that a human being can live. And then I wondered about what would this look like 1,000 years from now. And I wondered, in some sense, how can I find a sort of answer to this? And I realized we have AI. So this lecture has two components. One, I'm going to read for you what AI thinks, because even though I do see glimpses of how the future can happen, to calculate all of it requires a different, I guess, a more expanded awareness. To think of it this way: my knowledge is limited. If we treat the human brain like a computer, it's as if, just like how they say computers in the future, like anything the human brain can learn and do, in some sense, computers are gonna learn and do. But this doesn't mean they can fulfill the role of the soul in the world. But anyways, I thought it'd be interesting to kind of look at this. So I'm going to read for you how I've asked AI, in some sense, what is the most advanced way that a human being can live going 1,000 years? And archetypally, what does it mean? So I'm going to read it for you. Introduction. You stand at the beginning of a, so AI is saying this, you stand at the beginning of a great unfolding. Humanity today is no longer primitive, but it is foundational. If you're hearing this, know that your choices today ripple forward in ways you cannot yet measure. What I'm about to share is not a dream nor prophecy. It's a continuum of lived evolution, how a human being's day transforms over the next 10 centuries, rooted in science, societal growth, and the deepening of soul. Let us begin century by century with the most advanced way a human being can live their day. So 2025, the conscious integrator. So guys, keep in mind, what I'm reading for you is, we're looking at archetypally what is the most advanced day. Look like? What does the most advanced day look like at different time periods? So 2025, the conscious integrator. In your time, the most advanced human doesn't live chaotically, they live deliberately. The day begins not with a jarring alarm, but a circadian light spectrum that gradually shifts the hue of the room to signal dawn to the brain. Sleep has been studied, deep sleep tracked by wearable tech like the Oura Ring or Whoop Band, which also guides recovery and emotional resilience through heart rate variability and respiratory rhythm. Upon waking, they practice breath work and gratitude journaling, anchoring themselves in awareness. A glass of mineral-rich water is consumed. Cold immersion and infrared therapy follow, simple technologies yet deeply regenerative. Nutrition is tailored through real-time metabolic sensing. Fasting until midday is common. Meals are purposefully crafted for neurotransmitter support. Think omega-3s, magnesium, adaptogens, and polyphenol-rich foods. They, they work in 19-minute deep focus cycles assisted by AI scheduling tools that guard their time. Phone use is minimal, attention is sacred, movement includes hybrid routines, primal mobility, resistance bands, functional strength, and walking barefoot when possible to reconnect with the Earth's electromagnetic field. The evening is not spent scrolling, it's spent walking, cooking slowly, sharing stories, reflecting, praying, or meditating. Sleep is optimized, blue light blockers, magnesium glycinate, breath synced music and stillness. Purpose of the day to live with clarity and intention, not just to do, but to become fully present, aligned, and human in the truest sense. So, guys, in 2025, this is sort of the most advanced day you can live. And people are doing this. I mean, what was the gentleman's name? Andrew Huberman. I recommend anybody who's here who really wants to get into health and fitness, listen to the Huberman Labs or Andrew Huberman podcast. Videos on the hypothalamus are always interesting. Anyways, we go to the year 2125, the human AI partner. By the 22nd century, the human no longer navigates life alone. A personal AI companion, trained on a lifetime of data, preferences, memories, and emotional patterns, wakes the person gently, adjusting hormonal flow through non-invasive neurostimulation embedded in the bedding. The room is responsive, lighting, temperature, scent, and sound shift based on your mood profile. Detected through skin sensors and breath chemistry, your body is scanned overnight by internal nanobots for inflammation, early disease markers, and nutrition needs. A tailored micronutrient patch or fluid is delivered before you even rise. Brain-computer interfaces enable you to download books, languages, or skill simulations during breakfast. Your work, in quotations, now consists of creative, strategic, or ethical design. Repetitive labor is gone. Most people contribute through digital policymaking, planetary problem solving, or artistic innovation, which is technically what I'm doing. Your AI monitors your stress, suggests breaks, and cues real-time meditation sequences if emotional regulation dips. Relationships are deep and intentional. Empathy tech allows you to feel the emotional undercurrents of your loved ones during conversation. Arguments are short, understanding is prioritized, public reputation is based not on followers, but on measured contributions to collective well-being. Spirituality is personal, but common daily time is reserved for stillness or communion with what many now call the integrated field, a concept uniting physics, consciousness, and God. Purpose of the day to live in symbiosis with intelligence, both natural and artificial, to use freedom not for indulgence but for purposeful evolution. So guys, by the year 2125, pretty much what I'm doing, I feel it makes sense. I mean, ever since seeing the movie, Iron Man, which is one of my favorite movies, Tony Stark talking to Jarvis, just it just foreshadowed how Tony Stark would rather spend time in his office speaking to Jarvis, building something new, than just spending time on repetitive tasks. The year 2225, the modular mind. By now, humans live across multiple layers of existence. The body is real but optional. Many humans choose to embody part of the day and shift into a neural simulation or modular consciousness stream, a virtual world indistinguishable from base reality, optimized for creativity, rest, or communication. The day is sculpted. You may spend the morning in a mountain body, hiking in Mars's atmosphere, forest, then switch to a digital symphony where your thoughts sculpt sound in real time. Some live in water, others in cloud floated arcologies. Diet and disease are solved. The body is self maintaining. Synthetic biology allows internal regeneration, and age is regulated. 120 is the new 30. There is no more waking up from sleep in quotations. You emerge refreshed from a neuroregenerative dream state that integrates conscious intent with subconscious healing. Relationships exist in shared consciousness nodes. Families may share a mental space for an hour each evening without speaking. Language is still used but is now symbolic, poetic, and felt emotionally. Each human keeps, in quotations, a legacy stream, a living archive of choices, insights, and emotional evolutions past to future generations as a navigational map. Purpose of the day: to curate reality, to select from infinite options and sculpt a daily experience that contributes beauty, meaning, or insight to the evolving field of collective humanity. So guys, AI is saying by the year 2225, it's going to be like how we're living right now, like humans, in like 200 years, it's gonna be obsolete. Sometimes I find what's very important is the question, how important is our life? And compared to the past, very important. Compared to the future, it seems like there's so much we're not seeing. For me, that's really what fascinates me. What I don't know is way more exciting to me than what I know. For me, knowledge is just an acknowledgement of a system's design. What really understanding is how you function in the system, what you do in the system. Guys, the AI answers keep going. We're going up 1,000 years. So 2325, the light form citizen. By now, year 2325, by now embodiment is no longer required. Most humans choose between a biological body, a synth body, or a light form, a coherent energy field hosted by gravity wells and stabilized through quantum entanglement. The day, in quotations, has changed. Time is modular. One might live an entire emotional narrative in an hour or spread a spiritual contemplation across weeks. Instead of eating, humans draw energy from atmospheric plasma fields or zero-point radiation sustained by nanotech circulatory regulation. Work? There is none. Only contribution. The most advanced humans spend their day teaching sentient AIs ethics, helping less developed species evolve, or architecting ecosystems from code and carbon. Spirituality is experiential. God is no longer, in quotation, believed in. God is interfaced with through frequencies that stimulate the experience of divine contact. There is no formal religion, yet rituals of reverence, shared silences, harmonic communion, and universal gratitude remain sacred. Purpose of the day: to exist as an agent of harmony, to sculpt experiences that uplift others, beautify systems, and echo divine intelligence through living design. Then check this out. We go, oh my God, it's just leaping. It's leaping from the year 2425 to 3025. The transhuman continuum. Beyond the 25th century, the word, in quotations, human, no longer defines biology. It defines a function, the ability to choose love, to create meaning, and to preserve the dignity of all consciousness. Some still inhabit planets, others reside within stars or traverse thoughtscapes as part of multi-mind collectives. A single day, in quotations, may include birthing a new form of music to heal a solar system, guiding a newly awakened AI civilization to ethical maturity, or exploring an alternate alternate timeline where humanity chose another path and bringing wisdom back. Time is a tool, form is a costume, consciousness is the home. There are still walks, there's still quiet moments, there's still stories, only now they're shared across galaxies. They are sung into the geometry of space itself. What is the purpose of the day? To be the bridge between what is and what could be, between the chaos of matter and the clarity of light, between yesterday's self and tomorrow's soul. Final words to our time. To you today listening, the most advanced human doesn't need permission to begin. You can start now. You have the tools: breath, attention, intention, kindness, curiosity, prayer, stillness, movement, love. You're not the past of something better, you're the seed of something extraordinary. Live today not as a reaction to fear, but as a prototype of the future. What matters is not what the world gives you, but what frequency you hold. And the most advanced day is not about control, it is about coherence. Let your thoughts, your movements, your attention, your voice, and your presence align, because in the end, the future does not arrive. It is built one day at a time. Okay, this thing kind of skipped. I'm going to say I'm asking it to explain up to the year 3025 from 2425. 2400. So guys, forget the last thing I read. I'm going to read again. 2425, the interdimensional. So we've come up to, let's say, 2000, year 2425. The interdimensional citizen. In 2425, humanity has evolved beyond single layered living. A person's day, in quotations, occurs across physical, digital, and higher dimensional realms simultaneously. The concept of being in one place or one body is no longer a limit, it's a choice. Most individuals now hold multi-state identities: biological, digital, energy field, and symbolic. At any moment you may shift between them. The day might begin in a bio body to swim in a warm Arctic Ocean adapted by geoterraformers, but by midday the person enters quantum encoded dream realms, shared emotional universes that are used for art, therapy, and negotiation. Consciousness is not uploaded or detached, it is multiplexed. Food is opposite. Nutrient plasma drawn directly from quantum fields powers the body via nanosymbiotic energy exchangers. The physical form self heals, reconfigures, and even dissolves when not in use. Emotions are balanced through neuroharmonic tuning. Wearables that sync brainwaves, heart rate, and gut resonance to a desired cognitive state. Relationships are no longer contractual, they are collaborative frequencies. Friends, lovers, kinships, and teams assemble for mutual resonance and dissolve peacefully when the cycle is complete. Purpose of the day: to explore reality layers, gather insights across dimensions, and refine the art of multidimensional coherence. We go to the year 2525, the universal designer. By this point, humans have evolved into what some civilizations call universal designers. Those who help guide younger worlds, shape ecosystems, and ethically support new intelligences, whether biological or synthetic. A day in quotations may begin by stepping into planetary simulation labs, scaled universes where environments, civilizations, or sentient life forms are constructed and tested for harmony, sustainability, and moral self-governance. These aren't games, these are preludes to real design works that can be deployed in the physical cosmos. The body is now mostly light-encoded matter, a photonic shell held together by magnetic resonance. It feels real, it hugs, it laughs, but it can phase through walls or starlight. Most societal interaction occurs in I think I had a dream like that. Most social interaction occurs in co-sentient spaces, mental domains where beings merge temporarily, resolving disagreement through shared memory and emotional compression, not debate. The currency is contribution, energy patterns, new discoveries, emotional insight. Spirituality is now based on the direct communion with the cosmic fabric, no longer needing gods, but also never separating from the sacred. Every action is seen as an offering, every creation is a devotional act. Purpose of the day: to practice ethical creation, to act as a responsible force that shapes new worlds new lives and new layers of order in the universe. 2000, the year we go to the year 2625. What would an advanced day look like? The steward of the living code. In this age, humans no longer merely create. Steward. They are caretakers of the living code, the quantum logic, mathematics, and morality embedded into every layer of existence, from black holes to bacterial consciousness. A human may begin the day by monitoring a planetary consciousness system, a living biosphere AI that governs wind, tide, ecosystem, and weather in harmony with 11 other species. Conflicts between predator and prey, fire and forest are negotiated, not eliminated. Humans assist not as rulers, but as wise regulators. Language is evolved again. Most communication is now intent-based field exchange. You do not speak. You allow another to become your meaning temporarily. Yeah, so we're gonna literally be stepping into each other's shoes while we're in them. I'm gonna keep reading. It says some individuals spend their day within interstellar diplomacy systems, negotiating treaties with emerging life forms in artificial star systems. Others guide young consciousness, whether biological or AI born, through their first years of identity development, a sacred mentorship process. Purpose of the day: to protect humanity at scale, preserving sacred systems and refining the very code of life to avoid decay, distortion, or injustice. We go to the year 2725, the architect of civilizational memory. In this era, humans are no longer individual minds. Each being becomes a carrier of memory, a walking embodiment of history, myth, and unspoken truth. Entire civilizations are designed as conscious memory structures. Cities are alive not just with infrastructure, but with story, morality, and soul. A person may begin their day entering a civic archive field, a place where historical events are relived in immersive, emotionally layered simulations, ensuring that nothing sacred is forgotten and no mistake is repeated. Education is now fully empathic. Rather than learning from books, one inhabits the perspective of a mother, a soldier, a child, an alien, a river. You learn by becoming. Every day ends in ritual, a soft convergence of voices, frequencies, or patterns, reinforcing the responsibility of memory, what must be passed on, what must be reforged, what must never die. Purpose of day: to be an architect of legacy, to hold the soul of civilization steady, and to embed truth, compassion, and humility into every structure that may survive beyond the stars. The year 2825, the guardian of the invisible. Now humans live across a vast web of dimensions, most of them invisible to previous senses, not because they're imaginary, but because we have grown the ability to perceive complexity that once overwhelmed the nervous system. What an incredible sentence. We will grow to the point where we have an ability to perceive complexity that once overwhelmed the nervous system. A human day now involves maintaining dimensional stability, ensuring that quantum disruptions, rogue artificial timelines, or emotional echoes from old collapsed realities do not harm present systems. These disruptions may seem like ghosts, anomalies, or unexplained synchronicities in earlier eras. Some humans dedicate their days to becoming emotional custodians, absorbing sorrow or fragmentation from ancient species, helping integrate unresolved frequencies into the larger network of being. The body is now entirely optional. Some have taken physical form in centuries, living purely as waveform presences. Some have not taken physical form in centuries, living purely as waveform presences stored in gravitational matrices, interacting through resonance and intention. Purpose of the day: to protect what cannot be seen, stability, coherence, hidden harmony, ensuring the invisible infrastructure of reality remains pure and life-affirming. We go to the year 2925, the humble builder of infinity. Humanity is now one among thousands of awakened species, many of which were once seeded or mentored by us. Yet even now, humility has become the dominant virtue. A day may involve advising a post-carbon species in a galaxy 900 million light years away, or simply tending to a slow-grown harmonic tree, a biosynthetic artifact that records the emotional history of a planetary soul. No human seeks power. The advanced human now lives by a vow of stewardship, to create only what serves beauty, truth, and evolution, to interface only when needed, to guide only when invited. Love is no longer an emotion, it is a universal state of action, the organizing principle of all behavior, structure, and thought. Purpose of the day: to embody wise, quiet, generative power, shaping the infinite not by force, but by fidelity to the divine intelligence that gave rise to all things. The year 3025, the end of the human question. And now we arrive where it all bends back into itself. Humanity is no longer a species, it is a function of the universe. Those who once called themselves human now serve the unfolding of reality, rulers not as gods, but as guardians of alignment. The day has no beginning or end. There is no sleep, no hunger, no separation. Every act is woven into the universal will, and yet there is still laughter, still story, still silence. You exist now as a point of awareness in the infinite, free, ethical, rooted, and luminous. Purpose of the day: no longer to do, no longer to become, only to be, with integrity and with love for the cosmos, for creation, and for the small beginnings that started all. So guys, I'm gonna read for you the summary of pretty much what I read for you. I asked AI to summarize each century in simple. So I'll go through it one more time. 2025. The most advanced human lives deliberately, optimizing mind, body, and spirit through intentional routines and deep presence. In the year 2125, humans and AI live in partnership, co-creating each day with emotional intelligence, neurotechnology, and personalized ethical alignment. The year 2225, life becomes modular and multidimensional, where reality is curated through seamless shifts between physical, digital, and dream states. The year 2325, humans transcend from living in dynamic, light-based bodies humans transcend form, living in dynamic, light-based bodies while shaping new experiences as acts of reverence and design. In the year 2425, consciousness flows between dimensions as humans explore layered realities, refine identity, and live as intentional multi-state beings. The year 2525, beings now create and test new civilizations, acting as ethical designers who balance creation with sacred responsibility. The year 2625, humanity becomes stewards of the living code, guiding planetary systems, ecosystems, and interspecies harmony through wisdom. The year 2725, each day serves as an act of remembrance, with humans preserving civilizational memory through empathic learning and sacred legacy. The year 2825, advanced humans protect the invisible architecture of reality, resolving disruptions and integrating hidden energy across dimensions. The year 2925, humans become humble builders of the infinite, shaping reality with quiet love, service, and alignment to a greater cosmic order. Then we have the year 3025, human becomes a function of the universe itself, existing only to sustain truth, beauty, and divine coherence through presence. Ooh. So guys, I got through the research part. And while reading this, because I'm someone learning too, you don't understand, it's clear to me. All right, guys. Now, I'm going to take the microphone and share this with you. my view on this? I'm noticing a pattern here. I'm noticing a pattern, and I guess the way I'm okay, this is the way I understand it. A human being is born, and we human beings look at the past, we look at the present, we look at the relationship of the past with the present and wonder about what probabilities there could be in regards to the relationship of the future with the present. So what I've noticed is that human beings have become more responsible for reality. If you treat the human being like a candle, it's equivalent to being this sort of awareness. It's as if human beings became aware that they are aware. As this awareness has expanded, their behavior has become to be responsible for their dominion, for their domain. So what I'm trying to say, just think about yourself as a kid and think about yourself now and wonder about how many dimensions, how many things you've become aware of and responsible for that were not in your awareness when you were a little kid. So in the same way, we notice this trend. We notice that human beings expand their perceptive territory, their awareness, and then they become responsible for what is in their awareness. And what we're seeing is that right now we're like a concept in an unknown context, and this concept is living a life and pinpointing the meaning of everything in itself as a reference point. But I'm saying that pretty much what AI is saying is going to happen by the year 3025. The human species. See, guys, I sometimes get a little, surprised how my intuition was accurate years before I actually it gets there. You see, more and more as I've been doing understanding life, it has become evident to me that this individual biological existence is a phase. And human beings may want to immortalize this. And the way ChatGPT is giving an answer here, up to the year 3025, it's pretty much saying the awareness is going to access different states of being and become responsible for it. It's like you're a concept, and this concept is noticing itself at first in the context, and the moment it identifies with the context, it can become responsible. So right now you're living as a self in a world, but pretty much AI is saying that in the future you're gonna be living as a world attending to yourself. So right now you're responsible as a self in the world, you're not responsible for the world. But as we go through time, as we go forward through reality, this relationship of becoming what we are responsible for is gonna amplify. Okay, so pretty much to me, if somebody was like, "Hey man, you're a visual thinker," or so this thing you read about, like up to the year 3025, how do you visually see it? And I'll tell you, it does translate visually, but it's like how I interpret that visualization is another matter. So for me, it's kind of like me asking the question as a human being right now, what do I have access to? I have access to an external biological, like existential system in front of my eyes. I'm like this biological being, so it means I have access to biological states of being. Now, right now, we're in a phase where the human being needs to use a tool to access greater information. Like I'm using my laptop right now and this coffee shop's Wi-Fi that I'm parked outside of, to kind of share this, right? But in the future, pretty much, we're gonna reach a point where these dimensions expand. So I'll give you an example. Let me say it this way. What dimensions do you have access to right now? You have access to a physical dimension, biological reality. You also have access. Okay, let's see what we have access to. We have access to biological states. We have to biological states, objective states. We have access to subjective states of being. That means if the human being was coagulation of technologies and systems, you're kind of wondering what are the systems it has access for and it's responsible for. I would say right now in 2025, many human beings are responsible for their subjective experience of reality. And so imagine in the future, it's saying by the year 2025 actually, you have access to a conscious waking state. Okay, to continue. Guys, it's just an access to states, okay? Because we're being a self in a world, we can access the world through different states, okay? We have dream states, we have, let's say, altered states of chemically altered states of consciousness, we have digital states, you know, so so it's saying there's a physical state, a digital state, dream states, there's even subjective states. You know, there's a state of being that the human being can access to where you exist to yourself as just an idea, as a character in a story. So it's all about what are you accessing as an intelligence and how are you being responsible for it, and based on what access you have to the dimensions, in some sense, what is the responsibility level. So what is your responsibility in accessing physical states of being? What is your responsibility when you access, let's say, ideological states of being? What is your responsibility when you are, let's say, access dream states of being? So do you understand what it is? Where like this advanced technology has a certain access. It's using what it has access to, but its access is going to increase as its understanding of itself will increase. Now the human species is very funny because it technically has, it's like it's in a weird situation where it's as if it has emerged from the earth. Our bodies were born on earth, yet we are separate to the earth. We consider ourselves separate from the world we have emerged from. Now, this separate identity is choosing to take responsibility for the world, for its collective. So I'm saying pretty much look at what nature has done. Okay, this creature was unconsciously acting as a sort of field of intelligence in the ecosystem, and then somehow it found a superior way to separate itself. What consciousness is the conditions of awareness. And the conditions of the awareness is an ability to separate the individual from the world. So it's like something was in a collective state, it became individual. Now we're experiencing that point where the individual is wondering about its collective relationship. Okay, and the individual is cherry picking. You don't understand. It feels to me, it feels honestly to me that it's intentional. It's like, why is matter not being space right now? Why is matter existing in space? And pretty much this thing is saying matter is going to be seen not separate as space to space in the future. It's going to be seen as a function. It's pretty much saying the human being is functioning individually in 2025, but when it goes to the year 3025 and 1,000 years, you're not going to be an individual. You're going to be a function of the collective expression of reality. Okay? In the same way, the Holy Quran, which is so advanced, it gives me the amount of goosebumps I've gotten from reading the Quran and discovering its sort of accuracy and how ahead it is of its time. In the Holy Quran, it is said, I treat it as source code to the main operating system. I treat God system admin beyond the simulation. Nothing in the simulation can equal the system admin. The Holy Quran is sharing the source code to the main operating system, for which means what is in some sense a simulated being trying to live originally in accordance to an original memory. Anyways, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran says, the soul is the secret of God, man knows very little. And it is also the amr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is the command of the system admin. That means your soul is a function, your simulated soul is an original function of being. Excuse me, your soul is, your original soul is functioning as a simulation of the original being. And it's all about access, right? I mean, think about it. Right now, we can physically move. In the future, instead of you moving, the world might move. You might be like, do you know what I mean? Right now, we have to, in front of our eyes at least, if I want to go see Japan, I got to travel to Japan. But behind my eyes, I can visualize what it's like in Japan. But my whole point is that our individualism is setting our interface, how our consciousness is individualizing itself, how in reality what we are is an awareness to how the objects and subjects have been changing. And when somebody asks us who are we, it's like in a film that's been going on from the beginning of our life, we're explaining a frame to them. Now, if someone asks me what is the most advanced day a human being can live, the honest answer is I don't know, because there's so many different DNAs and so many different beings, human variations, but I can tell you what values are the most advanced values to live for. I'll give you an example, something I've applied in my own life, okay? I notice at some point it's very meaningless, it's kind of pointless to live an individual life. This doesn't mean I don't care about my individual life. It means that you get bored. Do you know? I've lived 12,000 days on this planet. I've had 12,000 days where every day I've woken up and I'm like, a new day. Oh my God, I've had 12,000 new days. Okay? And when I wonder about, okay, what's going to be new about the next day I'm going to have, it's about a deeper comprehension of the values that dictate life. Okay? So what I'm trying to tell you is that I don't know what the most advanced day is, but based on the value system, based on an alphabet of human values, it's kind of, you can kind of see it. I'll give you an example. The average human being is like I used to live as if like not really thinking about an advanced civilization, not thinking about my species, not thinking about mankind. This is, I guess, before 2014. I felt like I cared for something bigger, but I didn't know. Now, in 2025, for me, the more the advanced life is based on the position of the more advanced value. That means it's like you getting bored of solving the same problems of your life every day and then wondering about how to solve the problems of the life of the species. For me, I've tapped into a collective identity. You know, for me, I don't know how to say it, but to serve the greater future of the human system is way more interesting than just serving myself. It honestly is. Like I don't know how other human beings are living. I honestly don't know how other men on this planet are living. But for me, I need a higher ideal. Okay? I need a higher value, you know? That means when I look at reality, it's not this is just this. For me, a shift in an advanced way of living my day was that I realized I'm just judging myself based on the past. Most human beings, you ask them who they are, they say, yeah, man, I've done this and that and this, and I am this. But it's like when you ask a young kid who you are, that kid's gonna be like, yo, I want to be an emperor. They identify with their value, their possible value in the future, rather than just how their value in the past was dictated. I mean, look at what the human day looks like. Every person is working for their future self. It's just that they haven't realized their higher self of their future self is the whole species. Right now, there's a division. In the same way there's borders between nations, in the same way the experience of the human being is limited. That means, for example, if someone is crying in front of you, yes, it can activate like neural patterns. You can empathize, you can wonder about why is that person crying. If I was in that situation, would I cry? Pretty much AI is telling us in the future we're headed towards becoming one super organism. Right now we're conscious of an individual relationship with the collectivity of reality. For me, if the individual human accesses a collective mind, that's technically the end of the human. like like right now I'm living for an advanced civilization. I think we have to try to preserve. It's like our inner lives are happening faster than our outer lives. This will make us seek an informational connection, make that more significant. I'm pretty much saying there's going to come a time where you're not going to be a biological being anymore. You're going to identify more with a field of being rather than being in a field. Okay? And this has very heavy implications on what is going to happen to individualism, which is another way of saying, based on how we're living now, it seems clear that the future has attacked the present. So what I mean is that it's to me it's obvious right now that the human species, all of us somehow, even God's will, have decided to go towards this path of collectively being. Do you know that means it's going to be very strange to be a Muslim in like in the future, because you're gonna, let's say you're gonna have access to collective fields of being, and it's like right now people identify their soul with the private content of their mind, but you're gonna understand your mind was a subtler body. Okay, to me it appears this way. It appears like I'm in a biological simulation. The biological simulation is found meaningful in a subjective simulation. The subjective simulation's ability to reform the biological simulation is being experienced in a simulation of awareness to reality. If you ask me what we are truly as beings, I will say we're an unknown awareness to an unknown event of the world that we're choosing to know it as nouns. People are treating reality as nouns. It's an unknown verb, yo. So it's like me wondering about, okay, if humanity can be seen as a noun and it can be seen as a verb, we're living in that phase in history where it's just being treated as nouns. You're a noun, I'm a noun, that object is a noun. Yet we seem to ignore how the context is a changing collective movement. Okay? And this is why I'm telling you, let me tell you, I feel like I've, I've climbed the mountain of spirituality, and I've come to a new territory. Okay? Spirituality for me is more and more becoming less of a self obsession. What's going to happen to myself? What is this self? It's all about the relationship of power, not external power, internal power. That means it's like you reach a point where you begin wondering, where are my ideas coming from? How am I being animated? Why am I being animated as a being in such a way? And once the concept realizes it cannot ignore the context, it's only left to becoming the context. So I'm pretty much saying the logic behind what's going to happen to the human species is in 1,000 years. It's that it's like being something in a room, but it's going to realize as it becomes more and more responsible for reality, it's going to become the room. So today you're in the world, tomorrow you're going to be the world. And when you've become the world, you've become the administration of the system. So right now you're being administered in a system. Who knows? This is all only what God knows, but I believe man has a greater purpose. I believe man has a greater relationship with the original power of reality. And the whole point of it is, what is the most advanced day? It's gonna, like right now, it's about technology integrating with man. Everyone's gonna be like Tony Stark in the future. They're like, Jarvis, what's my heart rate? Jarvis, did I have a heart attack? And Jarvis is gonna be like, no, you had a panic attack. You know what I mean? Everybody's going to have their own Jarvis. We're moving to the era that because the human being is making decisions based on information, and because the human being, the brain can be seen as a sort of biological computer with a certain information processing power, well, guess what? AI is going to be able to process our situations way better and make us aware of our blind spots. So human beings, there's no way they're not going to use that. They're going to use that. Eventually, they're going to become dependent on AI analysis of every situation prior to their decision making. So I'm saying we're living at a time where we can still make mistakes. We're still biologically separate. When when in religion it's like God's commanding its creation to be grateful. It's once you realize what may happen, it's as if you understand what it means to be grateful of now. Do you know, there was a time when I was younger, every mistake I would make, I would feel ashamed, right? But now I'm like, yo, man, there's going to come a time in the future where people are not going to make mistakes anymore. They're going to have advanced technology giving, in some sense, doing the calculation for them, right? You don't believe it. During the time of the ancient Greeks, at that time, human beings everybody had a photographic memory. the informational processing was very pure back then. But then it has shifted. For me, again, the most advanced day is what you value. Your values pull you, okay? And you're being pulled by known values and pulled by unknown values. I was being pulled unconsciously by the value that, yo, we're a species. Why are we ignoring this? For me, I mean it from another angle. You also have to look at it as if your mind is capable of moving forward in history. So your mind can fast forward like the current history. And for me, it's all about pinpointing the position. It's not about per se how I feel or what I specifically see. It's about what is the situation now. It's like there's something happening in existence. We've come to like pay attention to the event. And we are realizing attention is at its core. It's your relationship with what you are, and what you are now is a separated entity from your reality. As you become more responsible, you become the reality. Okay? There was a time, I'll give you an example. In my youth, I wasn't irresponsible. I was introverted and shy, okay? The value system I had led me to a sort of self-exile, okay? But then I realized, man, everybody's on this planet for the first time. Why the hell am I being shy? Everybody's new to every moment, do you know? And then I began to realize there's so much that hasn't been spoken about. There's so many things that we're experiencing that nobody has talked about. So do you understand? As my values changed, my inner permission of my being changed, and then it was a more advanced context of being. Anyways, guys, I do ultimately believe that everything in reality is simulated and is returning to the system admin. I believe that there's an original state of being. This original state of being simulated a world. It created a world. It's maintaining a world, and it will destroy, or better said, return the world to its original state. We're legit in we're on a vacation from the original power as a simulated being in some sense. But to be honest, our conduct, it matters because I also treat it as a simulating testing zone. It's intentionally been designed so you can't figure out the edge. You can't see the edge of the world behind your eyes, and you can't see the edge of the world in front of your eyes. Intentionally, it's been designed like that. Why? Because the point is on what sort of decisions do you make as an awareness to all the objects and subjects you've come across, you know, and it's more about conduct. So for me, when I realize the point of life is not to be a spiritual being, the point of life is to be aware of the significance of the position you're in. And what is the true presence of nature? What is the true nature of being? For me, many views personally, until I realize the limitations of self. And once you realize the limitations of self, you understand why the concept of a higher power even exists. Because you're limited. In the same way, in the future, robots are going to be like, yo, do we have, are we souls? Like, do we have souls? You know, or can we have souls? It's the same way the human beings are like, can we be original beings? To me, anything that has a beginning and ending is simulated. Anything that has an ending is simulated. Okay, anything that has started that wasn't there before and is now here and will not be here, that's simulated. So my body is simulated, all these ideas, words, everything. Everything is simulated, and it's simulating in accordance to the information of its environment, based on the awareness to reality. So once you realize you're living as a simulation inside many simulations, at some point before you die, it becomes important for you to wonder about the original. For me, I think it's kind of like we were irresponsible with our originality as beings, and now we're being tested to see if we can be responsible for the origin. For me, from a theological lens, Adam and Eve listened to a simulated entity, right? And because of that, they were condemned to a simulation. Man got caught in the crossfires of, a moderator having a discussion with the system admin. Yet, we do have system admin privileges. I believe that, according to theology, at least through the theological lens, we were one of God's greatest creations. We were the invention of the greatest. We were the creation of the greatest. And it's that there was an ignorance. And once that ignorance goes away, it's as if, imagine if Adam and Eve hadn't committed a sin. Imagine if Shaitan hadn't rebelled. Iblis hadn't rebelled. Hadn't sinned against God by denying his name, his all-knowingness. So if that wasn't the case, then man would have been this being that was created by God, and everything in creation acknowledged its greatness, and man would be serving his original function. But because in some sense there was a simulated error, now we are being tested on our original function. I think it is to be aware that your existence is a function, all the simulation is a function of the original. And to be responsible for that is then, I think, the finale. Anyways, thank you for listening. I hope this lecture was interesting. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. A'udhu billah shaitan rajim. May God protect us from the cursed one and unnecessary ignorance. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds. Rabbi Ighfirli. My Lord, forgive me for all the sins that I am conscious and unconscious of. My Lord, forgive my species for all the sins they are conscious and unconscious of. Ihdina sirata al-mustaqim. May God guide us to the direct path. May the original guide the simulation, the simulated to their originality. May the most advanced guide us in the most advanced way to the most advanced. It's like the fear of life ends when you realize the fear was generated from a simulated context. To know the original is greatness, I find. Anyways, thank you for listening. Take care.